All right, guys, welcome back. Another day, another video. Let's jump right into it. First of all, there's this news that came out over the weekend, and it looks like Sega is nearing a deal for the Angry Birds mobile game maker Rovio. Now, this is a pretty big deal, as Sega has been in the rumors for years. I mean, they're always in the rumors. What are they going to be doing? Are they going to be acquired? It's one of those companies that, for Xbox, a lot of people would love to see make a deal with, maybe an acquisition, because of the great relationship they already have. It'd be very good for Xbox in Japan, and they already have been working together over previous generations of consoles. Now, one of the things when it comes to the Xbox Activision Blizzard acquisition has been the purchasing of Activision Blizzard for King, for the mobile side, for Candy Crush, and then also obviously for things like Call of Duty Mobile and Warzone Mobile and Diablo Immortal. But for the mobile side of gaming, where Xbox wants to expand out and make their own mobile start to go out and compete with Google and Apple. And now we see Sega probably thinking along those same lines about how important it is going to be to expand more out into the mobile industry, into mobile gaming, because that's where a ton of the money is. You don't have to really put anything into anybody's hands in terms of any hardware. Everybody essentially has a phone these days. You just have to get them to actually download your game off of the mobile store. And we have this article here from the Wall Street Journal saying Sega nears a deal for Angry Birds mobile maker. Japan-based entertainment conglomerate expected to pay about $1 billion for Rovio Entertainment. Sega Sammy Holdings is nearing a deal to acquire the company behind the Angry Birds mobile game for $1 billion. And the Japan-based entertainment conglomerate could seal the deal to buy Rovio by early next week. So this upcoming week right now that we're in, we could see this deal be finalized and to see if it goes through, or if this is a true report, right? Whether this is just rumors or if this is actually going to happen. They're saying, assuming that talks don't break down, obviously, because it hasn't been finalized and it hasn't been announced. It says here, specifically, the big game there, right, is Angry Birds. I remember Angry Birds years ago. I think Angry Birds was huge when I was in like high school. And it's continued to be a massive mobile game, saying Angry Birds was a trailblazing mobile game released in 2009 when smartphones were still in their infancy. Players use a slingshot to fire their birds over, under, and through various obstacles to knock out squadrons of green pigs attempting to steal their eggs. I mean, if you haven't played it, that's how the game is. And it was the first mobile game to be downloaded 1 billion times, according to Rovio. And last year, it had reached the milestone of 5 billion downloads. So this would be a big purchase for Sega to help them grow in the mobile side of things. But then it's the next question you ask yourself. I saw a lot of people insinuating this. Does this open up even more incentive for Xbox to want to go out and purchase Sega and be that major publisher that they purchase in order to get that huge foothold in Japan, especially because if they do own Angry Birds after this deal goes through, it will help grow the Xbox mobile side of things. And maybe this is something here showing that there's no way that Sega is even thinking about acquisition. They aren't trying to be acquired. They're trying to grow themselves more and grow out into the mobile space. I think that's probably more likely. I would be extremely surprised if Xbox actually ever bought Sega, but they do have a great working relationship. They did announce that partnership with the cloud gaming stuff, or the cloud infrastructure with the Super game coming from Sega. And I would love to see just more Sega games making their way onto Xbox Game Pass, and more bigger games like Sonic Frontiers getting onto the service soon. That would be very, very cool. But this is another thing that we're seeing in the industry. The shift is moving towards these bigger companies looking at the mobile side of gaming, and they want to expand there. And even the PlayStation is doing that as well, as they've opened up the PlayStation mobile market and PlayStation PC. They're all shifting in these different areas, knowing that they have to expand out, reach more people if they want to continue to be successful in the gaming industry. But I thought this was a pretty big article, a pretty big announcement, and we'll see if the official announcement does come down sometime this week. And now we'll jump over here to some Halo news. There's a bit of Halo news over the weekend. First of all, we have seemingly another departure, and that is Frank O'Connor, who's seemingly leaving 343. He's been a part of Xbox and the Halo franchise since 2004. Specifically, it says O'Connor has contributed to Halo since 2004, first authoring the Bungie weekly update that began during the development of Halo 2, and he remained with Bungie until the developer left to work on its then new IP Destiny, choosing to join Microsoft and work with its new studio 343 Industries in 2008. So 2004 was with Bungie and Microsoft, and then they leave, start working on Destiny, and then he goes and he stays with 343 and is working on Halo with 343, and then he became the franchise creative director and worked on the creative narrative and story development aspects. So, I mean, depending on what you think about the story, but there was Halo 3 was great. Halo 2 was good. The first Halo was great too. Halo 4 actually I thought was a pretty good story as well. So there's that. And Halo 5 it fell off, and I actually enjoyed Halo Infinite. So in terms of the story side of things, Halo's been pretty good. I wasn't a big fan of the Halo TV series, and he's worked on the Halo TV series, but the novels have also been pretty cool too. So lots of good stuff from Frank O'Connor, but seemingly he has left 343 because on his LinkedIn page, it was updated for April 2023 as the end date for his time as Halo's franchise creative director. So another person seemingly leaving, and this is just a long list of major employees that have been leaving 343. So here's a list. I mean, you have art director Nicholas Sparth Bouvier left in 2002. You had the head of design Jerry Hook, which was a major loss. He went and opened up his own studio. Then you had the lead multiplayer designer Andrew Witz, and who left. You had Bonnie Ross who left. Then we just had Joseph Staten who left. The big people handling the Halo franchise are leaving 343, whether it's voluntarily or they're being pushed out. I guess we don't really 100% know that, but there is a shift coming to Halo. Microsoft, Xbox obviously are disappointed in how Halo Infinite has been performing. And I know there's always this back and forth argument about Halo Infinite. I'm on the side that I think it's actually a very good game at its core, at its base, gameplay, even graphically. Everything in the game itself, the foundations of Halo Infinite is extremely good. It was the content side of things where they dropped the ball, which you just look at the Steam numbers. It's nowhere near where it should be. I mean, it should be a premier FPS, have way more people playing. It just isn't there. And it's going to be very tough for them, I think, to get people back into it. They're saying this was like a 10-year project. And one of the biggest downfalls of Halo Infinite was, in my opinion, the story DLC and just the focus on single player campaign. I don't know why they would not focus more on that. I know it's not where all of the money is, but the basis and core of Halo is single player campaign from very first Halo Combat Evolved, and ignoring single player is ignoring the core fans of Halo, in my opinion. So that was a big failure for Halo Infinite for me, especially when we heard they hadn't even started working on single player DLC. Will we ever get single player DLC before Halo Infinite is over? That's what I would love to know. But there's a change of guard coming. And I mean, the franchise is still alive. It is still well. I know people think that it's like the death of Halo. That isn't true. The franchise is going to be here for a very long time. It's not going anywhere, and it's going to improve. Just hopefully going forward, they can revitalize Halo Infinite, because, like, again, the core foundation and the basis of the game is absolutely incredible. But when it comes to Halo as a franchise overall, we got also this here from O'Connor's LinkedIn page as well, where the Halo franchise has generated, this has 6 billion, but there was an update, $10 billion in revenue as of 2019. This is one of the biggest franchises ever in terms of a video game franchise. And it's not number one. There was actually another comparison here. People were comparing this to like Call of Duty, and Call of Duty has about 31 billion, which Call of Duty has released far more games than Halo. So it does make sense. But you think about, if the Activision Blizzard acquisition does go through, you're going to have Halo and Call of Duty under one publisher, under Xbox Game Studios. It is just a mammoth franchise IPs here that Xbox has, and they have to do them right, because they have a lot of opportunity here to continue to grow them and to utilize them to become one of the biggest in the industry, above currently where they are now. I mean, they are still very big, but higher than where they are now with the games like Halo and Call of Duty. So this was a big number. A lot of people are talking about this and debating it back and forth in terms of how it compares to Call of Duty. But again, at the end of the day, if the deal goes through, they're going to have both of those. So Halo, hopefully they can fix it up. Hopefully they can bring it back, and hopefully they will continue to add content to it so that people do come and want to continue to play Halo Infinite. If it is a 10-year project, they have time. We saw how they turned around the Halo Master Chief Collection after that launch. I think something similar is going to continue to happen with Halo Infinite. Now, when it comes to the previous developers of Halo, Bungie, we have some news here that I've been looking for, like mainstream news articles covering this. It hasn't been covered yet, so maybe it just hasn't reached the mainstream media yet. But we have a lot of people here talking about layoffs happening at Bungie. And one of the things people are debating is whether PlayStation gets the same spotlight on them when stuff like this happens. Because whenever there's big layoffs at Microsoft and Xbox Game Studios, it's all over the news. But we have some information here about Bungie specifically and layoffs that seemingly are occurring. Now, there could be big articles coming out this week. Maybe there just hasn't been enough investigation into it yet. But we have this tweet here from Hazard Gaming saying layoffs are happening at Bungie, and it is a screenshot of Daya Morrow. Now, her account limits who can actually see the tweet, so I couldn't really get into it any further. But here's a screenshot. It says, "Hello, everyone. I am sad to announce that I was recently impacted by a team reduction at Bungie and will likely be closing the door with them next week. I am, however, happy to announce that I am currently looking for associate level opportunities." And as we know, Bungie, it was that big acquisition from PlayStation, and seemingly PlayStation doesn't take part in stuff like this. They're fostering talent, they're keeping talent, but it looks like they are in the middle of layoffs, team reduction at Bungie. So it almost seems like it's an entire team that is going to be getting laid off for a very successful studio with a very successful franchise that you are thinking PlayStation wants to expand Bungie to work on more games as a service. Because one of the main reasons I would say PlayStation bought Bungie was for that games as a service expertise, where they are lagging far behind compared to Xbox and compared to some of the competitors that they want to catch up with in terms of first party content. Bungie would be that studio that will bring them to that promised land to create great games as a service stuff already with Destiny. You would think they would want to expand teams, maybe start working on a second project, maybe start working on multiple smaller projects on top of Destiny, but it doesn't seem like that is what is going on. And people are going through loss, which obviously is never a good thing for the actual people getting laid off. But we'll see if the story develops. We'll see if there is some sort of announcement, and maybe something's happening at PlayStation, at Bungie, restructuring. Who knows as to what is going on here with Bungie and layoffs, but that is something that is currently going on. And we'll jump over here to this announcement here, which I think is going to make a lot of people happy. It's going to make me happy. And it shows Xbox is listening. So Xbox has announced plans to make new dashboard feel less crowded. So they're going to be making a new dashboard, and we've seen already previews of it. This was their preview, and this picture here, you can see tiles just all over the screen, right? That's the dashboard. They're just putting more tiles on there, cluttering it more, covering up the beautiful background of Halo Infinite here, or whatever background you have there. They have dynamic backgrounds on Xbox, which is really cool with stuff moving around, but you can't see any of it because it's all covered by all these tiles. And a lot of people just want a simplistic version of the Xbox home screen, of the Xbox UI, where you can see your dynamic background, then have like a sleek design where it's easy to get to wherever you want to get. And I think if they are able to hire just high-end UI designers, that is something definitely feasible that Microsoft can do. And it looks like they are going to be going that way, as they have listened, and this is what they say. "We heard from you that the changes to the top of home did not leave enough space for you to enjoy your backgrounds, and that it felt crowded. We're working to balance the experience, accessibility, function, and the needs of our community, and bring you a great and refreshed home experience." So I'm excited to see what they come up with. I actually honestly hope that it isn't just like making these tiles smaller and then shrinking them down. I hope kind of it can be the same style as it is now, but really clean up that homepage where the focus is on maybe the game you're playing, your friends that are online, and then the background. But there's so many things they could do here that I think would be nicer than what they currently have as the Xbox UI. But I'm going to leave that there, guys. Let me know what you think about all of this stuff, about a new dashboard coming, Bungie layoffs, the state of the Halo franchise. I would love to know all your thoughts. If you enjoyed this video, hit that thumbs up. If you're new here, hit that subscribe if you like daily content. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for support. I'll catch you guys in the next video.